Good evening and welcome to Off the Bench. Off the Bench proudly brought to you by GRV. Get your tab bets on the heats of the greyhound racing this Sunday's Healesville Cup, which will be an absolute beauty. No Swatter tonight, no Wayne Swass, not to see him. He's had a little holiday. So we've replaced him by a man who won the 1999 Coleman medal, and that is Scott Cummings, and it's good to have you here, Scotty.
It's great to be with you. I think holiday was probably required. You could tell that the Swatter was fatiguing the last few weeks, and just a little rest will do him good in the twos.
Well, I don't think it will hurt him, that's for sure.
No.
I was going to say the former West Coast player, but then I was going to say Collingwood.
Haven't got long enough, mate. Have not got long enough for that. Just say the former player.
Former player who did win the 99 Coleman medal, as I said. Hey,
you don't win it. It's not a raffle, mate. You earn it.
You earn it, sorry, that's a fair point.
It's not like drawing a raffle.
Hey, let's put it this way. Let's get straight to it, because the first grand final's been run and won. And we want to talk to a couple of the stars, of course, from Lindenow South, who have done it again. And we'd like to welcome the president, who's also the star player, in Rob O'Keefe, and their star midfielder in Nathan Pollard. Boys, welcome. And congratulations.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
How are you feeling, boys? Seriously, I mean, you're looking a little fatigued. How's the celebrations been? That's the first thing I want to know. Have you celebrated properly?
Yeah, we'd give it a good shot anyway.
So best on, you just give the boys a bit of a mention straight away. Who's been the best on in the celebrations?
I reckon Dan Haddon. Sure.
Yeah, Superman on the weekend. But I reckon our two captains, Noel Jans and Russell White, put in a couple of good performances.
Captain's performances?
Very minimal sleep for them too.
A massive win, 75 points. It was a fantastic effort. All set up with an 8-goal third quarter, the Premiership quarter. Absolutely brilliant. As we go through the scores here, give them an absolute touch-up, lads. Well, let's talk country. Pickers, Howdo, kick 6.
Yeah, Howdo, of course, he did.
Earthy, kick 5.
And look at our man to his right, to our right, Nathan, who not only won the medal, he won for the best player on the ground and kicks 4 snags, had about 35 touches or 40 touches, I believe, but also won the league best and fairest. So you've had a pretty successful year, Nathan.
And club.
Yeah, it was good to get a full season under my belt after a couple of years injured. And, it's just good to get through a few games and string a couple of good ones together, I suppose.
Nate, I think the word you're looking for is it was good to dominate the league in every aspect this year, because you have, mate, and I mean that's a fantastic little collection of the trophy cabinet, but the grand final obviously the most important one.
Oh, definitely. It's especially the club you love, grew up watching, and they used to always got a bit of a touch-up back in the day, and just to win 1 flag was good, but to win 4 now is just unreal, I suppose.
Yeah, turn that around. You won 4 of the last 5. Which one did you lose? The coach get sacked?
No, it was a big deal, 2011, so he's still going though. He's retired after every grand final, I think, though.
Rob, what about you? You're the president, you're playing, but you've got there's 4 brothers that are all playing in the team, and all played on the weekend, I believe.
Yeah, the youngest one's the coach too, and it's pretty good to play with them all. Pretty privileged, but they go all right as a unit, but we're getting a bit old. A couple of older ones, but...
Rob, what happens if Rodney is there is the coach and he's not performing? As the president, mate, it's your job to give him the lemon, give him the lemon and sauce, mate. Are you capable of making the big decision there?
Don't worry about that, mate. Get the fly swatter straight out and just give him one. But,
looks like a decent crowd there as well, Rob and Nath. I mean, obviously big... big crowds come into the Country League finals, but the weather looks like it turned on as well for you.
Oh, the weather definitely turned on that day. It was really good, as a few of the marks from Big H. He was clunking all day, so it's definitely, I think, going undefeated, bit more pressure on us, and we done it in 2011 and we lost, so I think a few of the boys were getting up there to have a look at us.
Now, Scotty, with the Premiership, we know everyone loves the celebrations afterwards. So these boys, they rocked in today looking a bit dusty. Let's have a look at some of the Mad Monday setups. Now, talk us through this. Who's the in the green there?
Yeah, that's Chris Richardson. He actually didn't play in the granny. Jeez, that's not a good shot.
That's you, Nate.
Yeah,
that's you. The Jamaican bobsled team?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness me. And we've got Anthony Carter here, half-back, and Lee Freshwater, the full-back. Do backman. Yeah. There you go, Priest and Nuns. That's some seedy sort of material there. Now, how long did that go for? How long do the celebrations, are they still going? Are the boys that you've left behind back in town still having a crack?
Oh, I don't think so, by the look of a few of them.
Yeah, 4 o'clock yesterday, I think.
So that's it for you? Nothing else?
We got the presentation next weekend, so
keep it going.
Let me ask you this, Rob. It's been pretty hard for old mate to get knocked over in any awards from here on in, could he? He's won the league, he's won everything, hasn't he, at this stage?
Just lucky H got the goal kicking. He only got it by about 10 for the league.
Well, because you kicked 40 goals as well, I think, to go with all your possessions in the midfield.
40 goals, so...
Tell us, the bloke who beat you, you were neck and neck, were you, rolling into it?
Yeah, he only played about 6 games this season. Come in the last one, he was 2 up, and so I wasn't going to feed. I wasn't feeding him at all. I told him that, but he somehow managed to snag 15, and I only got the 1. So.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it'll absolutely do it. Well, guys, thanks for coming in. Well done. 4 out of the last 5 premierships for Lindenow boys, and really appreciate you both coming in, both Rob and also Nathan, and well done, and enjoy. You'll continue to enjoy, I'm sure. And you don't go home empty-handed either, by the way. Your efforts tonight will kick you out with $100 each worth of St. Goliath clothing. Very, very good, combining street trends with easy wear styles, I should say. St. Goliath is available at Myer and Edge clothing stores nationally. You'll also receive, Scotty, a double pass to the iconic Denny Mute Muster,
what a great
which is on again this year on September 30 and October 1st, featuring Keith Urban, if you don't mind. Visit dennyutemaster.com.au to get your tickets.
Handy, the clothing for Rob, because he's pretty much everything he's got on has been borrowed from someone at the moment, he's told us.
That's because he hasn't been home.
Yeah, it's good. That's real handy timing, that.
Hey, well done, guys. Let's hope you enjoy the rest of it. It's time now to get on to our new segment for Hotondo Homes, and it's the goal of the week in country footy. Hotondo Homes, build your dreams today. And Scotty, tell us about Brendo.
You've gone a bit cowardly on me there. It's Brendan
Wemus,
I would have thought that's goal of the day. And that there, in the prelim final, got them through to a grand final. They've come all the way from the elimination. So let's go with Brendo. Great goal there. Left foot on the snap. Gets them through to the grand final coming from the elimination. Great effort by the boys there.
I tell you what, I thought that I saw a falcon in the middle of that sort of passages play as well. I think the boys have spotted it. Brendo got it off the back of someone's head. So to actually get himself through and snap it across the left, but it was the importance of the goal. Prelim, from where they came from, a fabulous performance to get through to the grand final. So good luck there. Hotondo Homes, of course, build your dream home today. Visit hotondo.com.au. A break, plenty more to come. Ros Lanigan, well, she's got plenty across the rest of the country finals after the break. Welcome back to Off the Bench, proudly sponsored you or brought to you by GRV. Get your tab bets on the heats of Greyhound Racing's Hillsville Cup this Sunday. So it should be an absolute beauty up the straight track there. Time to go for, as we all know, she really dominates this segment. It's time now for Around the State, of course, and we welcome the one and only Ros Lanigan, Country Footy's First Lady, onto the panel. And hello to you, Rosie. I love this segment with you.
It's weird you sitting over that side of the desk, Pickers, but we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. We're well and truly into finals, as you said, the Omeo District Grand Final run and one. Great to have the boys here tonight. We're going to have a look at the Wimmera Football League preliminary final on the weekend. Now, Minyip Murtoa booked its first grand final berth since 2009 in a 3-point thriller on the weekend against Stall, your boys, unfortunately. But they'll be without one of their stars, assistant coach Luke Chamberlain. He was taken off in an ambulance, as you can see here, in the last quarter with a compound fracture to his lower leg. Basically, Luke laid a tackle on Stall's David Andreven when this injury happened. It was less than a minute into the last quarter. The ambulance was called and it took about 35 minutes to get there. Then they loaded him in. So the game was delayed by 40 minutes.
It's been getting dark.
I don't think it was quite dark, but under AFL Victoria rules, if a game is delayed by more than 30 minutes in the second half of the match can be called off, and whoever's in front at that point takes the win. Now, Minyip Murtoa's president, Andy Dallahunty, didn't want to take the win that way. The Boroughs were in front at that stage, and he said, no, we want to play the game out. We don't want to get into a grand final by just taking a win like that. So they played on, and we've got some vision now, which we'll take a look at.
There's the old mighty red and blacks. Look at them. Old team, Scotty.
Andy's decision nearly proved that's the injury there. To Luke Chamberlain, but Andy's decision to play on Nelly proved a disaster. Still kicked the next couple of goals and took the lead in the last quarter, and I'm sure the Minyip boys had their hearts in their mouths. But the Boroughs steadied in the dying minutes. Nick Kelson secured the win with the last goal of the day. He finished the match with 3 goals in a best on-ground performance. So the Boroughs now are chasing, that's the goal. That's the last goal of the game, and that gets them into the grand final. Chasing their first flag since the 1996, 97, 98 three-peat when they line up at Horsham City Oval tomorrow.
Great sportsmanship, Ross.
That'll be against, it is,
yep.
and that'll be against the Horsham Saints, who are in their 4th consecutive grand final. Pickers.
Yep.
Who's going to win? Store boys obviously aren't in.
No, well, I'll have to go out on a limb and say that I think the upset, I think Minyip Matara will go all the way. I think especially great with the great sportsmanship they showed last week.
They deserve that,
And the Store boys had their chances too.
And we've got a little bit of extra vision, which I really like. The supporters were in tears after that win in the Minyip Matoa rooms. Their lifelong supporter, Jill Robbins, she's 76. You see her there at the right of screen. It was her first ever time in the rooms. Her daughter pushed her in. She knits beanies for the club for every newborn at the club. It was her first time in the rooms, and everyone was pretty emotional after that win. You can understand why. So best of luck to the Boroughs tomorrow up against the Saints in the grand final. As we move along to the Ovens and Murray Football League, this was the elimination final on the weekend. Wodonga Raiders, a 12-point win over Myrtleford. Very gutsy win in the end. It was their first finals win in 5 years. The scores were all locked up at quarter time of Sunday's game at Wangaratta, but the Raiders looked likely winners when they slotted 5 goals to 2 in the second quarter and led by 24 points at half-time. But Myrtleford was not done. The Saints surged in the second half, and it was outgoing coach Brad Murray who inspired the fight back. He went forward, kicked a couple of goals in 2 minutes to bring the margin back to 6 points at the last change, but the Raiders kicked the first 2 of the last quarter and went on with it from there. Jayden Eagle, son of Merv, booted a match-high 5 goals in that game, and he was among the best players for the Raiders. They moved through to the first semi-final against Yarrawonga at Corowa on Sunday. Yarrawonga got walloped to the tune of 11 goals in the qualifying final by Lavington last weekend. So they've got a lot of injuries going into tomorrow's game, Sunday's game rather, so I think the Raiders will fancy their chances in that one. We're going to have a look at the Alberton Football League preliminary final where Inverloch Congwack were victorious over Daleston. Inverloch Congwack into its first grand final in 14 years with this 18-point win in last week's prelim. There wasn't much in it all day. Daleston led by a goal at quarter time, then the Sea Eagles by 7 points at half time. Toby Marnie kicked 4 goals for the winners, and the 17-year-old Campbell McKenzie was best of field. So it'll be the Sea Eagles up against Fish Creek in the grand final tomorrow. IK played in 4 grand finals in the first 7 years they were in the league. They joined in 1996 after the Bass Valley League folded, and they lost them all. And the last 2 in 2001 and 2002 were both against Fish Creek. So a big game tomorrow.
Well, massive games all weekend. We know that. I would have thought so that you've really got to the stage now, Ros, where you need to hit us some GRV news.
Yes.
What's the latest?
I can hit you with some GRV news. As you said, the heats of the Group 2 Healesville Cup will be held on Sunday with a greyhound called Landmark, the one to watch, I reckon. He's won 8 of his past 10 starts. He's trained by one of the best in Robbie Britton. He won the Straight Track Championship at Healesville 2 weeks ago, so he knows this track pretty well. And the Healesville Cup final will be held on September 11th, so Sunday week. And just a quick one to finish with, boys. The Victorian Deputy Premier James Molino has adopted a greyhound, as you'll see here, with his lovely family. A blue greyhound named Sarah, who has joined their family, one of 33 former racing greyhounds to be adopted at a Gap Adoption Day in Ballarat last week. So that's a great story, and of course greyhounds pretty lazy after they finish racing, Pickers.
They are. You got some. Well, can get a little bit lazy.
Oh, but, incredibly lazy.
Very good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's it. Great pets. They don't need a lot of
space.
space. Don't need a lot of exercise.
By the way, Healesville Cup this Sunday, the heats. Are you got a dog?
Well, I had a dog. He trialled at Healesville. He jumped out of the 6 box and after 2 steps turned left, took out 2 dogs, ran to the end and then tried to jump the fence to get to the lure afterwards. He didn't go that well after that.
Retired?
Yes. Yeah.
It shouldn't have any problem. It's up the straight. I can't work out. Your dog must have some problems. I'm not sure, but it's a fantastic track. We're looking forward to the heats on Sunday, of course. We've got a big show still to come. We've got plenty of big stories. And Ros, we'll say thanks for now, but we'll no doubt see you again very, very soon. This is Off the Bench. Welcome back to Off the Bench for GRV, and of course it's feature story time, and this week's Major story, or feature story if you like, is Noel Muggovan, who I remember playing for Fitzroy and Richmond back in the day. He's also a junior coach and he's a greyhound breeder, and this is our look at Noel Muggovan.
Yeah, I'm Noel Muggovan. I'm a teacher at Emmanuel College. I've been there, and that's a local Catholic college in Warrnambool. I've been there 29 years. Being involved in footy, I started at Tower Hill, a team that doesn't exist anymore, Tower Hill, out at Killarney. But I started in the under-17s when I was 11, because if you lived in the community, that's what you did. Went to Melbourne. Wasn't initially asked to go to Fitzroy. I trained with Port Melbourne. And then Fitzroy was short in the practice match, the under-19s, and they asked if a few of my mates who were there asked would I fill in. Yeah, no worries, and so therefore I stayed there for a number of years. Played 40-odd senior games, so that was great, loved it. Then I went to Richmond for a year with my own boys growing up. Well, naturally you're going to follow them, so I thought I may as well coach.
Noel is a Year 9 teacher. He's our sport and rec teacher, and he's got a lot to do with the footy coaching here at Emmanuel. He coaches basically all the levels of football. All the boys respect him, love to have a joke with him.
I used to pinch myself when I was teaching the Year 9 football group at school, where boys at the end of the class would come up and thank you. And I used to pinch myself to think that's how they felt about the class, and that made me feel really good. And I always felt over the years of teaching, it's been a pleasure to teach the young people.
The footy's going all right at the moment. The Year 7, 8s and intermediates have all made it through to the intermediate finals.
We have relationships with people, we're dealing with people when we're involved in sport all the time. We're talking about their lives and so forth. And greyhound racing to us has been part of who we are and our lives, and the relationships that we have as a family, and our talk and our chat and our support for each other. I think football and netball, it's at lunchtime, boys can get out there and let a bit of steam off, and you know, it's like a greyhound pup, 6 greyhound pups, and they're all trying to find their place in that group. And the mother's standing over them, like Ali today. She's standing over them, she's determining, you know, their behaviour. You know, it's like that with boys out in the yard of playing football. You know, they're starting to work out their pecking order and how they can improve where they are in the pecking order. I think it's pretty clear how the love's continued, that when I just see the great enjoyment that the whole family's received out of racing the dogs and having time rearing them and just enjoying them as an animal, but then being able to enjoy the times when they've won a race, whether it was a maiden race at Warrnambool or whether it was a group race in Melbourne. It's just been a fantastic journey for the whole family, and that love of the animal. And there wouldn't be a Saturday that goes by that Mum hasn't got the form guide out looking at the meadow fields that night and see what's running and whether I've got something. Or as far as football goes, she's an expert in knowing who's played well and who hasn't played well. So it's been a real family affair, and it still continues. And Mum was 84 the other day and has as much enjoyment out of the dogs as what she ever has.
What a great story, Noel Muggovan, combining football and greyhound racing, which is fantastic. Scotty, and I think your relation there to Brownie.
I think so. I think that's the connection there too. Is it his wife's Brownie's auntie making him his uncle? Yeah, something like that. But there's a connection there. Yeah.
All right, Scotty. Now it's on. Of course, we're continuing our weekly wagering battle where you and I go head to head in support of country footy clubs. It's called the GRV Club Challenge, and we get $500 each to spend at the tab. And it's all about rewarding local clubs. Last week, Albury Football Netball Club, $1,000. Thanks very much. Now let's work through this week's team. This week we're playing for Shepparton Football Netball Club. Yep. They've already won $1,000.
How good's that?
They've won $1,000.
And they got the nod because they broke an 11-year finals drought.
Exactly. Who have you gone with this week?
I'm going Cooter's Lad, the blue. Out the middle, bang, straight up the middle, and home she goes past. She's a Kalinda, mate. Don't worry about that.
No, she's a Kalinda who's a very fast starter, so I've got 500 the nose there as well. All right, we're going to be back with the final wrap of the show after the break in 2016. Off the Bench is brought to you proudly by GRV.
It's our favourite part of the show, the Celebrate at the Country Races wheel, with lots of goodies to be won each and every week. And the major prize, a $2,500 marquee package at the Kilmore Cup later this year, and that'll be drawn on our Grand Final Eve show. But we need contestants in order to spin the wheel each and every week, so get your entry in, and all the information about celebrating at the country races at countryracing.com.au.
Oh, it's wheel time, Pickers. I'll take it. This week, my friend, I love a big wheel. And this week we are playing for Sarah Woodhouse from Warrnambool. Sarah, here's hoping something good for you.
Give her a spin. What have we got, Scotty?
Oh, the CRV picnic pack. The cooler bag, picnic rug, 4 stubby holders, $50 online hospitality voucher. That was pretty good by me.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Hang on, what was that?
It wasn't that good.
I think that's the best wheel spin ever.
Tell you what, this is what he's carrying on
Thank
about.
you.
I'm getting my big hooter in front of you. There you go. Time now for the odds, brought to you by William Hill Online Racing and Sports Betting. William Hill, faster, easier betting. Scotty, whack it up from the start.
Well, early odds, of course, but $1.22 the Eagles, that looks absolutely on the money there. You think they'd get the job done next Thursday against the Dogs over at Domain and Geelong. Wow. Well, it's $1.63. Against the Hawks, going to be a belt every game.
It's short for mine.
Yes, I agree with that. Hawthorn at $2.30 ever is always good. Sydney $1.40 over the crosstown rivals now, the young kids at $3. I think Sydney, a very, very good thing there at ANZ. And the last one, Adelaide. In Adelaide is very, very tough. North are really just fighting their way to the finish, and it's $1.18, Adelaide 5 to North. Grand Final, Premiers, Sydney, $3 from Geelong at $3.75, Hawthorn at $5. Be about the only 3 there. Think we can get the job done, Pickers?
Yeah, Adelaide and West Coast. I wouldn't write either of them off at this stage. It's been a big weekend of footy. Thanks for your time, Scotty.
It's a pleasure, mate. No, it's good to be here with you.
Appreciate having you here, and we're looking forward to a really big weekend of finals footy. Appreciate your company. Swatter should be back next week. Depends a little bit on how he's rolling, because he lost a record this week. No longer the most effective kick in AFL football in a season. He sure's got that. He's having a sook about it, but hopefully back next week. Hope your team wins across the weekend. We'll be back with Off the Bench next week.